All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. Hope everyone's having an amazing morning and hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning. I'm doing all
Hey,
right. How are you? Sorry, I was listening to Benzinga squawk. 2.438 million is what I think I heard in jobless claims for last week that just came through. So I'm doing well, Carlos. How are you?
doing good, man. Doing good. All right. Let's see how that number is going to affect the SPY. I do have it up here right now. Not much of a movement just yet, but it's a little bit early. Let's see how that takes over in a second here. All right, guys, we had a great day yesterday. Looking forward to another great one today. Right now, Gappers list and both up and down are pretty decent size, so nothing all that crazy for the most part. Looking forward to see where we're going to be ending the week today and tomorrow. So with that said, guys, let's go over to the market pulse and get an idea of what's happening with the market. Nor can fill us in on any some of the latest and greatest stuff happening.
Yeah, we've kind of had the sustained pop holding here at the high end of this range, trying for the big 300 on the SPY, which is right around in the same area as the 200-day moving average. Going to be tough to get through that unless we get some kind of catalyst, my personal belief. But we shall see. It's consolidating nicely here. Interesting, a couple of things. Obviously, states are slowly reopening, and those that are, uh, a decent amount of evidence coming out that there's not this huge spike in infections that people were worried about. So I think that's lent a little bit of optimism to the market. We continue to get some of these earnings. They're all over the place. But overall, I think people are giving companies kind of a pass right now for the time being, more worried about what's happening in the future as the market prices in the future, not the current or the past. So that's going on. Then yesterday we got some interesting news, especially if you look up Chinese tech companies. If you pull up the ticker KWEB, KWEB, it's an ETF of Chinese ADRs that are listed here, and WEB. There you go. If you pull up the 15-minute or 5-minute from yesterday, the Senate passed a bill that would essentially delist any foreign companies and then have them prove that they're not controlled or owned by a foreign entity in order to be traded on U.S. exchanges. So kind of crazy. And not that this wasn't foreseeable to some degree. Can you pull up a 5 on that by chance, Carlos, or no?
Yeah, I can.
A 15 from yesterday. There you go. You see that massive drop yesterday. Um, there you go. That massive drop. It was across the board. So we're going to see a lot of these show up this morning. Just scrolling down, we've got Baba, JD. I imagine more will pop up this morning. Just kind of changes the situation that might be going on there with these possibly being delisted from U.S. exchanges. Um, at the bottom of the hour when we came on, I was listening for Benzinga Squawk. We got initial jobless claims 2.438, I think was the number. It's essentially in line. 2.35 was what we were expecting, so just slightly worse. Then we also had Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, which came out. I did not catch that number before we started talking. We've got flash services and manufacturing PMI at 945, existing home sales at 10, a number of Fed speakers, including Jay Powell at 2:30. So a bunch of stuff coming out throughout the day. Should be interesting. Let's see how we do.
All right, thank you. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, looking forward to it. And again, some really good, really interesting news in regards to all these Chinese stocks. Again, we see JD's down quite a bit here. They've been doing pretty well. So we'll see how that's going to affect a company like that one as well, and Baba and the rest of these folks. All right, let's take a look at our gappers uplist this morning. Looks like it's a little bit lighter. ACB, nice pop today at 26% this morning. So let's take a look at what's happening there on ACB. We know that they have been having some pretty good days lately. So ACB on the list right now again with a beautiful pre-market action. 1.8 million shares traded. And just look at the action over the last couple of days. We had again this incredible 3-day run here on 2 days ago, 3 days ago actually. We gave some of it back. Yeah, yesterday was kind of more of a let's figure out what's the next step here. Kind of a pullback, just waiting to see what the continuation is going to be. And today they're up 25%, hitting as high as a 1785. So Interesting in what's going on here.
Yes.
Any more news on this?
So this popped hard in the after hours yesterday. They announced an acquisition of a United States CBD company, seen as a foot into the door of getting into the U.S. market. So that's what popped them up. This huge pop yesterday.
Right, so here, guys, for those that don't know, this is our previous day close, as you can see here, and then right at 1600 after hours, you can see that the pop just insane here, and with some really good volume as well. So, yeah, let's take a look at how this is going to trade. Definitely on our list, guys, leading the way for the stuff that's gapping up this morning. We'll see how that turns out. Let's make some room in our watch list, and we'll add a ACB here as the first one this morning. Next, we have CNK. CNK today is up 7%. Pre-market right now, not doing a whole lot. We do have 108,000 shares traded, but I'm not seeing anything all that great, any type of action here. Norm, any good news on this? Daily also doesn't look all that exciting neither. Anything causing this pop up this
I gotta
morning?
tell you, man, this just popped up, and I haven't seen news on it yet, so I don't know what's going on.
Gotcha. All right, so we'll come back to it, guys. Again, it doesn't look all that great right now. Let's throw it down here, though. I do want to come back to it and see if it's going to get any better as the morning develops. Let's go over to TJ Maxx. Here we go. So TJX, this one right now, it is up 6.2, 364,000. Looks like some kind of earnings news on this one, Norm, or some kind of activity happening with this
Yeah,
retailer.
they reported earnings this morning. And earnings were nasty. So I have not had a chance. It didn't come out that long ago. I have not had a chance to really dive into it too much. But from what I'm seeing, they lost 74 cents a share versus an estimated loss of 19 cents a share. So just got smacked, and I'm surprised they're up, but I'm going to have to dig into that one a little bit more.
Yeah,
It just came out. I haven't really had a chance to be able to
gotcha.
get into it.
Yep. I mean, that for that type of number so far, without having all the details, it's a little weird. They're gapping up like this. At least on their first initial move, too, right? So unless they got some crazy
Yeah.
guidance or something like that, we'll add this one.
They may
Yep.
have a conference call going on, or something that's given a little bit of hope moving forward. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, so we'll definitely keep this one on here, guys. We know some of these retail companies and some of these consumer goods have been doing pretty well lately, bouncing back. A lot of them yesterday, tons of companies hitting all-time highs like Lowe's. Who we had? We had, I believe, Nvidia, Facebook. I'm not sure of Apple, but a lot of these companies hitting these all-time highs. This one here has some room to run here to get back to where it was. So we'll see how this is going to turn out today. Right now, very active, 405, up 5.7. Definitely worth keeping on our list, especially with the catalyst of earnings behind it. Here's a BJ this morning, 200,000 shares traded right now. Their pre-market action really all over the place, but BJ tends to not have a great pre-market activity for the most part. Is a stock that doesn't trade a lot of volume. If you look down here to on the regular daily candles, even on big moves, look at this, three big moves right on here, huge moves. Going from 24.50 looks like all the way up to 27, and then the following day 27 all the way up to 29, and you only trade about 3 million shares. So again, this type of is the type of stuff you're going to get out of BJ's this morning. They are up 5.3, 200. I'm assuming they're also earnings, Norm.
Earnings this morning. You got to remember, this is like a Costco, but with a
Yeah,
smaller footprint. So a lot of people across the country aren't exactly familiar with this company.
yeah.
I've never personally seen one in person. I've seen the stock for a long time, but yeah, they killed it on earnings. So doing well, being rewarded for it this morning, kind of to be expected after what we've seen lines at Costco and everything else. So
Yeah. They're pretty well known in this area here in Northeast. Definitely in Jersey, they have a ton in New York as well. I'm not sure if they really extend out to the entire country. I doubt it. But let's keep them on here right now. Again, this one might not make our final list, guys. Again, pretty light on the volume. I'm not sure how their intraday is going to look with that type of activity. Again, they might be good
yeah, you
or
gotta kind of
they might
watch
be
it. This one,
choppy.
when I have traded BJ's in the
Uh-huh.
past, unless it's really, really on fire,
Yeah.
it can be difficult to trade.
Agreed. Here's a AZN this morning. They are up 3.8, 1.1 million shares traded. Yeah, a very active pre-market activity. I don't like the daily for the most part. Doesn't trade a lot of volume, but you can see here some of the days just don't look good at all in regards to their movement. But this pre-market, guys, is very, very active. So today is definitely one of the days we want to keep an eye on. Norm, anything exciting going on with these guys today?
AZN, U.S. government is giving them $1 billion
With a pinky?
in for yeah, exactly, $1 billion for a COVID vaccine that they're working on in conjunction with Oxford.
Gotcha. All right, so that could create some activity. Again, I'm not too familiar with this stock. I think we've seen it before, but I'm not familiar with their intraday trading.
It's a foreign company. It's a foreign
Yeah.
drug
So
manufacturer. So yeah, that's why we usually don't keep it on our list. It's fairly smooth action this morning. Good
yeah,
volume. So
yeah. You
it
know
might
what?
be an outlier as to what we usually trade.
You're right. This pre-market activity does look very good. I'm gonna keep it on here for now. Worst case, we'll bring it down as a possible next to CNK and see what happens there. All right, guys. Let's see what's
Yeah.
gapping down this morning. Let's sort this by the worst to the best. Pixie's down huge today. Now this one, guys, was very active. You guys remember this hit $16, and now we're sitting down at five
That
dollars
was
and
ridiculous.
sixteen cents. Unbelievable. This is a three
Pump
hundred
and
and
dump
yeah,
garbage.
exactly 317
The
thousand.
316,000 share float.
Yep,
So
yep.
a third of a million shares. Tiny, tiny, tiny float. Got that huge pop
Uh huh.
on news that they had partnered with 11 Del Taco restaurants. Yeah.
I've never heard of Del Taco. But yeah, this is interesting.
It's a Midwest taco franchise fast food restaurant.
Maybe they confused it for like Taco Bell or something. I thought it was gonna be huge and bigger than
No,
what.
no, it just a pump and dump. I mean, that's what it is. I think like one franchisee got their software or something to help deal with supposedly COVID issues, and that popped. It's just nuts. Is Del Taco West Coast? Okay.
Yeah, and it's funny though. They took advantage of Taco Tuesday. Looks like too, so that's very interesting. Fishy, fishy.
Yeah.
All right, so we are
See,
gonna skip on this, guys. I mean, this is just not looking good at all. And again, I
just
don't
call the
want.
bullshit on it when they do it on Taco Tuesday, right?
Yeah, that is just not right, man. People are eating their tacos or
Yeah.
getting ready to eat their tacos for that evening and take advantage of people like that. It's just not right. All right, we'll skip on that, guys. Let's go to NNVC. This one has been on our list before. Horrible daily, though. I got to say, this does not look clean at all. Right now, their pre-market is also looking very crappy for the most part. So let's not get fooled by these numbers. They're down 13%, 212,000 shares traded. But again, there's nothing clean about this. So I'm going to move right on to the next one, unless anyone can tell me any great stuff on this, Norm. But I doubt it. We have anything good happening there. Here is Roof this morning. They are down 9.5, 140. Also not the greatest pre-market activity. Dailies also all over the place. What's the float on this? We're looking at 29.1. I kind of had the sense it was going to be a lower than that because look at the volume, 1.7 for the most part. Their daily, although it has a great flow to it, there's some days you don't get no movement out of this. So again, just not liking the way that looks this morning. We're going to
We
skip.
as we move from tacos to steaks, Ruth Chris Steakhouse here has announced a secondary offering to try to help raise some capital and get them through this crisis.
Gotcha. All right, so they're gonna stay on that same crappy list, and we're not gonna move these guys nowhere for right now. Here's Under Armour this morning. They have a pretty slow going pre-market action. They do got some volume for 240. Actually, that's not too bad for given the type of stock this is. It doesn't trade all that well unless it has some real news behind it. We have had several days we had some good movement out of this. Today, though, what I do like about it, we're sitting at a nice area of possible support right on there with some good levels down at 640. So this could be a pretty good short if it decides to trade in that way and give us an opportunity. So I'm going to put it on here, guys. It might just be a possible. Again, the pre-market right now, it's got to get going a little bit more, but it's not all that horrible. Given this thing is a nicey stock and they tend not to have the best pre-market activity, we'll keep an eye on it. And they had news a while ago too, about a couple of days. I think they had some news on it. I know we traded it then.
Well,
So
this is on debt capital raise, debt raise to try to get them through this deal. And just a note, we mentioned this kind of whenever Under Armour pops up. They've got two share classes, UA and UAA. One's preferred, one's common. I usually, if I'm going to trade UA, and I'm not saying it'll make my list, I'll pick the one with the higher volume.
yeah, but always, by the way, tends to be this UA one here, guys. All right, GX. You know what? GSX fooled me last couple of days. I took this off my list, and man, it traded amazing. Let's just go back here. Yesterday too. It was not yesterday. I think it was the day before or so where we had some really some nice trade out of this one. So I'm going to keep it on my list. Here it is. Yeah, so nice drop here, comes above the VWAP, and it becomes a beautiful trade after that. So a lot of you guys did keep it on your list. You took advantage of this, or I think someone had called it out either, or I think Brian called it out in the chat room that he was watching it. And I think he was the one that originally took a nice move on it. So, yeah, I'm going to definitely keep an eye on it. Right now, 347,000 shares traded. They are down 4.4 this morning. Pre-market starting to build up slowly here. Let's hope that continues. I do like the daily action for the most part here. Again, buyers to control, sellers slam it back down to 30, where it's been an area of support for them. They're slightly below that now. We do have one more area coming up of support down at around 28 or so. So I do like the activity on this one today so far, just looking at the technicals. Definitely worth taking a look at closer as we get into this morning's watch list. Let's head on down to BBY. BBY today is some crazy candles here in the pre-market, but this happens usually around 8 o'clock. You do have some prints coming in. This is definitely not price action, just probably some people transacting some orders. But for the most part, we are dropping here down 3.8, 197,000 shares traded. This has been doing pretty well. This is Best Buy, by the way. They have been doing pretty well over the last couple of days, bouncing back out of this 50 area and getting into some pretty good numbers, 80, 86, almost close to where they were before the market crash, obviously right on here. Still a couple of points away from that. What's the latest with them? They're dropping a bit, Norm. Any news?
They had earnings this morning. They beat top and bottom lines. But I think kind of the issue here is I think they're selling off just they'd run so far. So unless they just absolutely killed earnings, they were going to kind of get smoked this morning.
Yeah, get kind of a little pullback here. Yeah, so again, we'll see what comes out of this one. I definitely like BBY right now. This one can be a little bit difficult to trade sometimes. It's one of those stocks that doesn't have amazing volume. It is on the NYSE Stock Exchange, and usually they tend to be just a little bit more difficult to trade. But this one is definitely in play today. Got some really good volume this morning. We'll definitely want to keep an eye on this one. All right, let's head on down to ENPH, one of our former runners that we have looked at before here. This one today is down 4.3, 130. Pre-market action is not looking all that great right now. Hopefully this can continue to get better. Their daily, though, has been pretty interesting for the last couple of days as well. Also with a nice bounce here of 32 and 30. Worth watching. This is an energy company, so again, they tend to trade a little funky, but this one seems to trade better than the other energy companies, Norm. I'm not sure if you noticed that. They tend to always have a cleaner intraday.
This is, while an energy company, it's a little bit different. This is alternative energy sources and such, and it kind of trades like a tech company.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any news justifying the drop, so I don't know what's going on, if I haven't seen anything or what's going on.
Yeah. All right. So we'll keep an eye on it. Again, right now I do love the daily on it. We're getting a bit of a pullback here with some volume off the daily chart. So let's see how that's going to react in a second. TTWO. All right. TTWO is 110 right now, down 2.8. Also has been trading amazing. You can see here how well this has gone up over the last couple of days. Had a period here in March where, man, look at the dailies, just really all over the place. It's probably one of the worst daily charts we've seen in some time. This is very difficult to read. It did settle down a bit here above some of these moving averages, and now starting to get somewhat into a pattern over the last couple of days. You got a nice push here, consolidation, another nice push over the last couple of days. You're getting a pullback now. Pre-market is a little bit all over the place at the moment with some only 110, so we need more than that. I'm going to put this down as a possible. I know this could be an explosive stock to trade when it gets going.
Earnings last night.
Earnings last night? Thank you, man.
Yeah, and obviously they're capitalizing based on being people stuck at home. They're seeing their games being played at a rate they didn't even expect. But
I'm sure.
Once again, it kind of goes back to they have run huge in anticipation of that. So I think they're just giving some of it back now.
Yeah.
Buy the rumor, sell the news kind of stuff.
Yeah. And these company guys, you don't want to have a short bias or a long bias, any type of bias, because, man, although they're down, we've seen companies like this are doing well. Yes, they're extended, they take a little drop, and they could easily just shoot right back up. So be careful thinking that this thing is going to drop with some slightly negative earnings, whatever the case may be. Here's FSLY this morning. They are consolidating within this range. They've been having a tough time getting above this 43 area, looks like, for the most part. I'm not a fan of the pre-market action right now. Only 210, which is a good volume, but again, not trading very well in the pre-market. Again, another NYSE stock that tends to take a little bit to get going. This was active yesterday as well. They gapped up. Let's see how this traded. I did not keep this one on my list. So again, without looking at the price action, didn't look all that bad here. But again, not sure how the price action actually was on this. Their volume a little bit lighter, below, what was it yesterday? 3.8 million shares traded. So not all that great. We'll throw it on here, guys. Let's see if it can get any better. If anybody has had a successful trade on that, watched it closely, let us know if you're going to be watching that today again. Here is JD. So we got some news on these companies. Where'd Baba go? I thought Baba was in here. But here's JD bouncing back, trying to get above that that down negative 2.2 at the moment. They have a previous day close up here. Now this stock has been doing pretty well, guys. A couple of days ago we traded this one here, and it traded amazing again. It was just very explosive. So I would like to watch this one to see how this news is going to react to it. And to see what we get out of it. Right now 253, which is pretty good volume for JD. We know for the most part they tend not to have a good pre-market activity, and they've been having really explosive days. So again, worth watching here. Look at yesterday, we had a nice pop at the open, and then just kind of sold off for the most part, following these moving averages nicely here. So definitely want to keep an eye on JD. I think we can get some good movements out of that one today. All right, what else do we have, guys? Let's take it over to you, Norm. Anything you like this morning that you're looking at?
Boeing BA.
BA.
Had an upgrade this morning.
BA's daily is beautiful. Look at this. Nice,
Yeah,
nice,
so
nice.
should be interesting today. And then the other one I had is Macy's. They had earnings. They're not showing up on the gappers. They're slightly below 2%. But they have the volume, so it could be interesting. I don't usually trade stuff that's in this price range, but
Wow,
could
Macy's
move
at
well.
$5. Incredible. I remember this being at 17, right in here in this area. And I recall one of our when I was in the office at that time, one of the guys there, he said, he was a young lawyer. He said, "Oh, it can't go lower than this. I'm gonna buy." And oh man, the next morning he didn't talk to me after
Yeah,
that. I was like, I told him,
I
"Don't
hope he
do
didn't
this."
stick to it.
Yeah, I hope he's out.
So
He's got to
I've
be
got
out. Yeah,
yeah, I would hope so.
I hope so too.
Facebook hit all-time highs yesterday. I had trades on that one. That should be good again, possibly.
Yeah, yeah. Facebook is real nice, real strong this morning. Yes, yes. Let's keep
And
an
then
eye
I'll
on
leave it
this
to the
one.
room for call out the rest.
All right, excellent. Some good calls there, Norm. Thank you. All right, guys, let's go over to our chat, see what we have. Let's start with you, Kevin. We have ACN. We do have that one on our list. We had it right on here. Yeah, 1.3. So again, normally this stock doesn't trade very well in the intraday, but today they have such a beautiful pre-market activity. We definitely want to keep an eye on this one. Master Chief is giving us BYND. Let's take a look at that this morning. BYND has a pretty interesting consolidation over the last couple of days, really holding on to this 132.88 area as a support. Above that, we do have 137, also the low from yesterday, also great support. You can see here, resistance. You can see how many days have been bouncing, opening around that area, and this 145 is what they're trying to get above here. So slightly pushing above that. That was the high from yesterday, the high from a couple of 1 or 2 weeks ago as well. Right now it's very light on volume, but I like what you see here on the daily. I'm going to throw it down as a possible. Again, we've seen BYND have a horrible pre-market action, and they could just take off pretty well. So I do like BYND this morning. Let's take a look at, let me go back up where we left off. All right, Ryan PTD is giving us Expedia. What's going on with these travel companies? Man, I had a big day a couple of
This
days
one
ago.
looked crazy yesterday.
Yeah, big day a couple of days ago. After hours also, we have some action
Yeah.
on here. So they're gapping up 4.6. They're not getting the volume right now, but
I believe they had
definitely
earnings.
they did. Okay, it's definitely worth watching,
I
guys.
think so.
Not great volume right now, but we'll see what we can get out of this one, because right now they had a couple of great days. If they have earnings now, that's been being taken well by the market at the moment. So let's see how that continues there. All right, let's look at Baba, then Starbucks. Baba, here we go. Baba at the moment, very active. They were hitting our gappers list. They should be hitting now once they get below 2%. 640, yes, Baba is going to be active this morning. We'll take a look at that one and put it right on here. Starbucks, let's see what we got here. So Kevin D is giving us Starbucks this morning. They are also have an interesting daily as well, getting above some of the previous area of resistance, which is this 78 here. Look how strong that resistance has been. They're above that now. Last time they got above this, they couldn't hold and slam back down. Today they got some action on 123, and they started to get going up 1.6. All right, I am running out of room. I'm going to put Starbucks here, and I might need to stop here for now. Let's see. Let's look at some of the airlines you guys are throwing out here. Delta, and I'll look at MGM since a lot of you guys are mentioning that one. Delta this morning, good pre-market action. I'm gonna look at the airlines a little bit later. I'm gonna fine-tune this list first, and if we have some room for Delta and what is it? United has also been pretty good to us. CCL, what is those guys doing today? CCL has just been kind of just chopping around. I didn't watch it yesterday, but just chopping around in this area. Let's look at NCLH just to take a look at those. Also just chopping around right now. All right, let's take a look at MGM, one that a lot of you guys are throwing out at the moment. For the most part, this one is only down 1.8, 569. So again, it's got a great action right now, pre-market wise. Got some really good volume, 578. It's trying to get above to green here. It has a nice range. Was down as much as 15.8, almost up 50 cents at the moment. So we can come back to it, guys. I got to fine tune this list to make a little more room. There's a lot going on this morning, as we can see. All right, guys, friends on YouTube, I don't have no space here for you guys, but let's just look at some of the stuff you're throwing out. So Delta United, I'm going to look at later. Jamie's giving us NVIDIA. I do want to take a look at that because that one has been really active, guys. Again, just
I love the day.
it is nice. It is nice. Every consolidation ends up with a pop, with a breakout. Again, we have another consolidation here, and this one is very interesting because just look at the way this has been forming, higher lows all the way through, and now for the last 3 days we've been slamming on this 362 level. I know I don't have room here, but I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna add NVIDIA. Yep, she looks nice. So I'm gonna keep that on there. Starbucks, we looked at. We do have it on here, so that's good. SPCE, it's got to be looking really good today for me to add it with the type of list that I'm seeing here. And I'm not seeing anything great here in SPCE, so I'm gonna skip on that one for the most part. One more, we'll do Spotify. What do we have going on there? No volume, guys, so we'll do one more. I want to end on a good note. Let's look at another one. Space.
I know a lot of people are calling out space.
Yeah, I quickly looked at that one, but I'm not seeing anything all that great right now pre-market wise, and a lot of almost 20% of the volume sitting here. There's one candle, and their pre-market's just literally all over the place. Now this stock trades very high volume, so that doesn't mean it cannot be explosive, but right now it's just not anything great going on. All right, guys, I think we have quite a bit. Actually, we have a lot. Let's go over to our market pulse. We're gonna go through this and fine tune this a little bit, and just kind of pick the best ones that we can get from this list.
Or announcements.
Oh, announcements. Yes.
Guys, thanks for bearing with me. You can see I stood up. My back's killing me. I've been packing for 2-3 weeks. I've got doing all kinds of stuff. So the nerve in my back is killing me. I'm in this small space for another like 3 or 4 days. And then all this will be remedied, and I won't look ridiculous in the very near future. Anyway, we are very happy to announce our podcast, our new podcast we've had in the works for a while, but now we're releasing all kinds of new, fresh content there. You can search Talk with Traders on any of your favorite podcast platforms like Spotify, Captivate, iTunes, and you will find the Bear Bull Traders podcast. So subscribe, and new content should be coming your way. Guys, last night, if you did not have a chance to watch the webinar that we had last night, it is on YouTube. It'll be posted in the webinar section soon. John Hilsey, our own Hilsey, in the room, very active member of the community, took a lot of time to put together a lot of material talking about his journey to becoming a newly successful trader. The graphs were stunning. Thanks for putting in the time, man. It really was exceptional. One of the best parts of having a community is how much you can learn from everybody. I don't care how long you've been doing this. You still learn from people that, have been doing it shorter. They have insights. They figure things out. And so take a look at that. Well worth it. Like I said, it's on the YouTube page. We'll leave it up there. And you can also find it on the Success Webinar page soon if it's not up already. Next week, we have Nada. It is I believe a friend of Andrew's. It's works at a university up there in British Columbia where he is. She's going to be talking about practicing mindfulness and living in the moment. That'll be next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Psychology webinars next week, next Tuesday, 8 p.m. in the webinar room. Mike will be doing module 4, mindfulness during trading. And then the following week, we'll have our own in-house psychologist, Dr. Jonathan Katz, talking about how to cope with anxiety. Well suited for this time. Speaking of Mike, join him and Peter. And if Brian comes back, I'm not quite sure when, but the three of them have a lot of fun. Talk about the markets, talk about the day, what we may expect for the next day, and any earnings that take place right after the closing bell on our Markets Close on Wall Street show. Streaming on YouTube, 3:30 to 4:15 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching us on YouTube and haven't tried out the room, you'd like to do so, you can do it with a discount. Use the promo code premarket24. That gives you 1 calendar week in the room, 5 trading days. Also gives you access to our onboarding class. It's usually Monday nights, 8 p.m. Since Monday is a market holiday, it won't be on Monday, but that might be made up at some point if we need to do it next week. And then also, if you're looking to either upgrade your membership or become a lifetime member, you can get 40% off the single payment membership of the lifetime. Use the promo code podcast to get that 40% off discount.
All right, thank you, Norm. Okay, so someone mentioned LK in the YouTube chat, but again, guys, this stock at any moment you can really be stuck big time there. I have no shares for sure. I would imagine it's going to be difficult to try to short this stock. And again, it's just a stock you don't want to be involved in. We saw what happened here when this thing halted, got stuck for some weeks on there, and again, just don't want no part of that really. All right, let's go through this list, guys. Let's fine tune what we have.
And I'll just add to that, man.
Please.
There's certain things. Trading is risky to begin with. You don't need to add things that make it more difficult. Ask any one of the few people that traded LK. And even though I'm not aware of any that had large share sizes or anything, I know somebody had he was in a trade and he had 5 shares left when it got shut down that were stuck in that and their capital was tied up for 6 weeks. If they would recommend trading it, I just there's no point in it.
Yeah, there's really not, guys. There's so much other stuff that we can watch that trades better. Again, just don't be fooled by the numbers and the volume and the way this thing is moving. It's just very, very impossible to read. All right, folks, let's take a look at what we have here. And let's start with ACB this morning. They are up nice, 31%, 2.4. Right now, it looks like they're holding here. Looks like they want to go back up and test some of these recent highs we had in the last week or so. So we'll definitely want to keep this one on our list. Here's TJX, also had earnings. This one's popping up nicely over 6%. Their earnings were not great on the original numbers that we saw, but they could be, like Norm mentioned, they could be on a call, and there could be some good guidance being mentioned there. Who knows? But for the most part right now, they're up nicely this morning, 595, 6.2. And also what I love about it is that they're getting above this area of resistance right on here. We've been struggling to get above this, and today we're blasting through that, so that's good. Here's BJ. I'm going to take BJ off, guys. This is one that again doesn't trade all that well. They also had earnings, also breaking out as beautiful 29.50, but unless they have something really explosive happening, I think there's a lot more stocks that look a little bit better today. ACN, not a usual suspect that we keep on the list, but this one this morning has a beautiful pre-market action with some good volume, up 3.6. News about the government giving them a little bit of cash to kind of get going here and some stuff, so definitely want to keep an eye on them. Yeah, Under Armour. This one, again, just still not getting any better. It looks like we left it exactly the same way when we saw it last time. So I'm going to remove this one for now. Here's GSX. This one had a great action over the last couple of days. Had some really good pops and drops, and the daily, and also their intraday was pretty exciting. So I at least want to put some levels on this. We might not keep it, but let's have some levels ready to go. BBY, by the way, this is looking good, guys. I like the way this is dropping here. We're sitting right at an area of resistance that we had in the past. Price action is right on there. Let's see if it can hold the 78.30. We already tested 78, so we'll see what happens here. And also their daily is pretty clean. Their daily has been amazing over the last couple of days. When you have this type of daily chart, right, you hear us say sometime, oh, this daily is horrible, this daily it looks clean. This one is clean because you can clearly tell where the levels are. I mean, you can draw them right on here where you're seeing some of the change in direction. You know, the breakouts come back to test that support that was prior resistance. I mean, this is textbook a daily chart right here, textbook trading really on the daily. So I love the way this is setting up. Some pretty big active days the last 3 days on here. So we'll see what it does today. Here's a ENPH. This is one that tends to move a little bit better than most stocks in their area. For the most part right now, they got a good pre-market, 160. They're down 5.3. Yeah, daily is interesting. Let's keep an eye on it. FSLY. I'm gonna remove this one. Their pre-market is still not looking all that great. Their daily looks good here though. Possible breakout. This will be a good one for turbo breakup, turbo breakdown scanner. So I'm gonna remove it for now. And as far as levels, you will really cover here highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. So don't really need to add any more to this one in case it pops up. We'll be good to go. Here is JD. I like JD. Has been so active over the last couple of days, hitting all-time highs here. Now they're kind of getting pushed back a little bit with some news that's not all that great. Down 2.4, was down probably as much as 4.5 here. So at the moment, trying to bounce back. I like them this morning. BA has a beautiful, probably one of the best pre-market activities we've seen this morning so far. Just look at how great this is trading with some pretty good volume. It is up 2% right now. And their daily also, we've been ranging between this what is this, 137 or so down to 130. So kind of a $7 range in here. Let's see if if today's the day we break out of this. This is looking like it does want to do that just based on the pre-market and the way this is forming here. Here's a Macy's. I'm going to remove Macy's for now, guys. This is one it's tough to trade. Obviously, they got some news behind it, and they got the volume, but man, their pre-market is really choppy right now. The one thing I like about Macy's I mentioned earlier is that we're kind of losing this area of support. I cannot believe Macy's is at $5. We were trading this when it was at $17. So again, I'm just gonna, you know what, I'm not gonna remove it. We'll move it down to a possible because it can have some potentials this morning, some potential this morning. What is it? And we do have shares for sure, so that's good. Okay. So we'll bring it down to a possible for the most part today. Facebook is a great guys breaking out here nicely above this 230 over the last couple of days. Look at this. The last 7 days? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. All green days here with a nice big gap up above this 220. So this stock is strong. Definitely want to keep an eye on it. Baba is good as well, very active. We'll do some lows for this one. I am personally not going to keep it because this is one of those stocks that I just do not trade well. So I watch JD. They tend to be active, and Baba is very active, especially on news. Here's Nvidia. We'll watch that one for sure, and then we got some possibles down here. We'll get to if we have some time. All right, so let's get to it, guys. So here's ACB this morning, high of our pre-market. This is very active. Is a 17.85. The lowest sitting at a 15.75, and then surrounded between this range here for highs and lows. We do have our pre-market highs and the daily highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. So pretty much got you covered here with a beautiful base down here, previous day close, and some highs and lows around 14. And looking pretty strong right now, guys. Look at this movement on the pre-market. For the most part, we are up 32%. We hit as high as low as 15.75, and now we're up almost $1 on this one. So TJX continues to grind higher here. We're not with the greatest pre-market action or volume at least, but we do have 54.43 is the high of the pre-market. Towards the bottom of the price action, we do have a pop here around 52.81. That was the last area of resistance prior to this great area of resistance right on here around 51.50. So looking pretty good right now. This is not their all-time high. They have definitely been higher than this, but they're really climbing out of this hole. They were down as much as 34, now up 20 bucks from that low drop there. 57.21 could be the next area of resistance. You can see here highs in these couple of days opening and closing around this area, so you got some movement there at 57.21. And also you want to look out for 56. You have the 200-day moving average coming in as well at around 55.75. Plenty of support towards the bottom, guys. Highs and lows from the last 2 trading days got you covered. In the middle of that, you do have the previous day close. I do not need to add any more levels on this one. Let's see if it's going to go back up and test this 54.43. Here's ACN. Again, a great pre-market action. We do have a level right below on the daily, the price action right now at 55.64. Pre-market high all the way at 59.14. So we definitely got some range going on here right now. Towards the bottom of the price action, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, we've been ranging between 55 and 53. So you got some good support on there already. Is this all-time high? It looks to be the case. Just gonna go back a little bit here. Yes, this is all-time high on ACN. So all right, so that's even more interesting. Let's zoom back in here, guys. So again, all-time high, guys, and we're breaking it here some pretty good fashion, up for almost 4% with some good volume. GSX, so this one also has been trading very well over the last couple of days. The low of the pre-market is sitting around 20. What do we have here? 28.68. So we'll mark the low of the pre-market there. Below that on the daily, you can see how great that low of the pre-market is, guys. Plenty of support happening here. Even in this big drop, got the support bounced off of that. And then the last couple of days, we've been hanging around here, at least messing around with this 28.68. Let's see what it does today. And then if we lose that, we do have one at 27.36, several days using that as support and resistance right on there. All right, so next one, BBY. I like BBY, guys. I think their daily looks great. They got some pretty good activity happening right now for the type of stock this is. This is a nicey stock, usually does not move all that well. I'm gonna mark down above the price action right now at 78.50. We do have this great level of resistance at 79.67. I'm gonna mark that down because you have several days testing that. They couldn't break out of that, and then you have the beautiful gap up a couple of days ago. We're coming down slightly below that level, so I want to keep an eye on that. Low of the pre-market sitting at 78, so slightly below that 79. And then towards the bottom, we do have this great area at 74. Look how great 74.44 is. You do have resistance, comes back, becomes support, was not able to hold, eventually pops up, comes again and tests 74 one more time, and then you have the breakout. So again, a beautiful daily here. And we also have another great level all the way down here. Same situation at 71. We come up, we have some heavy resistance here, finally break out of that. And then we come right back to test at 71. Prior resistance, now support. Again, just textbook daily chart here going on for BBY. Towards the top, guys, plenty of resistance. Last two trading days highs and lows, previous day close. It's just a lot going on in here. Definitely do not need to add any more. Let's hope the pre-market though continues to get a little bit better. It started very nice here with some good volume. Let's hope that it does not slow down towards the open. Here's a ENPH for the most part. We also have some good activity on here. We love the pre-market 59.56. Towards the bottom of that, we do have a great area at 56 as well, and then shooting down below that right over here, another one at 49.18. So plenty of levels here that look very good off this daily. That's a beautiful daily, and also above the price action now, similar to BBY. A lot of resistance over here, highs and lows, previous day close in here as well. Tons of stuff going on up there. All right, here's JD. JD is really trying to get going. Let's see how our pre-market is going to end today. High of the pre-market sitting at 53.77. The low of the pre-market all the way down at a 51, and then below that you do have the low from yesterday. Look at yesterday's place. It's a huge drop and a big bounce here. Above the price action, guys, you do have highs and lows from the last two trading days. We could remove this 54, 52. We could take that one out. But we got plenty of levels towards the top and towards the bottom. We're looking pretty good as well on JD. So let's see how this is going to react. Again, this is for the most part, a very good open for JD, 288 so far. They tend not to have all that pre-market activity as we see in the past. Some of these days, you didn't really have a lot of volume, and you had some pretty good opportunities and some really good trading in the intraday. Here's BA, continues to rip higher here. Again, just look at the intraday. Look at the pre-market action. As I mentioned earlier, this is probably one of the best pre-market actions we've seen this morning. Again, bouncing, trying to get to this 137.50, which is the highs from a couple of days on here. Just been an area of a lot of resistance for BA. Let's see if we can break out of that. Clearly, this is a level all the way up here at 143. I would like to get something in between this gap that we have here. I think that's a stretch to try to get from 143. From 136 to 143. So let's see if we can find something, at least a minor area of support and resistance. I think we might have found one right on here, guys, at a 140.29. If we draw a line right on there, you're going to see that looks pretty good when it comes to the daily. You have several days opening and closing around that area. A lot of resistance in these couple of days on here as well. Some good look at the drop here. It comes down all the way to that 140.29. So I think that's a good area to have as a midpoint support. Possible resistance, but obviously the main resistance here is going to be this 143. Clearly you can see several days having struggling between that area. All right, here's Facebook. Facebook all-time high, I believe. Yes, we look at the V reversal on Facebook on the daily. I mean, that is just insane, guys. We're trading at 215 before the madness, down to what are we looking at here? 137. And all the way back up to all-time highs. It's just unbelievable. So obviously with the flowing traffic, people being stuck home, this is doing very, very well. I'm going to remove some of these levels we have here because the highs and lows got us covered for the most part. I don't think you need to add in anything. I mean, this daily is amazing. It looks great. You have your highs and lows covering you. There's no more levels towards the top. We can mark the pre-market high at the moment, but it looks like that's going to be being pushed through any minute now. Yeah, Facebook is definitely on top of the list along with BA. BA has a beautiful pre-market action as well. Here we have Nvidia, another one that is just also crushing it. Do not need to add any more levels. We're sitting at all-time highs as well. Again, we talked about this yesterday. A lot of companies just pushing through these all-time highs. Nvidia is another one that's doing very, very well. A lot of these tech companies just crushing it. With that said, what is Apple up to? I haven't looked at Apple in some time. So they're doing well. Not as big of the big moves as we've seen lately from Facebook and Nvidia, but this was right there, man, right there as well. It's trying to get to the all-time highs as well. All right, guys, let's fine tune this list. We have plenty on here and a lot that looks great. ACB, we're gonna keep an eye on. TJX, I'm on the fence on this one. Actually, you know what? Let's remove. I think I'm going to remove some of these possibles off the list and create a new possible from what we have already in our list. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete these here, and I'm going to create some possibles of the ones we kept from our main list because we have way too many and a lot of stuff's looking good today. Today's the day, guys. You can be picky, really picky, and just pick stocks because you like the brand or something. Who knows? But again, it's a lot that looks good here. So ACB definitely on our list, has been trading very well. TJX, I think I'm going to move down to a possible just because I know I'm going to like Nvidia. I know I'm going to like Facebook. I know I'm going to like Baba. The only reason why I'm moving this down, this looks very good for the most part. ACN, I'm moving down because it's typically not a company we trade. And again, same situation. We have some really good ones here. We have GSX, which has been very active. I'm on the fence on this one. BBY looks good on the daily. ENPH, okay. I like JD. I like BA. I love Facebook. Baba, I'm going to move down because I'm not a great trader of Baba. So you could do that as well. If you have bad experiences with a stock and you just can't read the price action, you can move that down as well. So Nvidia is great. Facebook is great. BA is good. JD, I like. ENPH, I am going to have to move this one down. I don't want to, but we gotta stick to 6 because more than that's just way too many. You want to overwhelm yourself watching too much stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll keep these 7 for now. GSX might be the one that gets dropped off here, but these other ones, they all have some kind of news behind it, or they just have an amazing pre-market action like Facebook and Baba do. So I'm sorry, not Facebook and BA do. So I think we have an amazing list, guys. Let's see what everybody else is watching. Norm, what does your list look like today so far?
Facebook, Nvidia, Boeing, AZN, TJ Maxx, BBY. I got EXPE on the side.
Gotcha, man. All right, so let's see what we have here. So Peter is watching Facebook, Nvidia, and ACB as his main secondary EXPX, and he has BBY, JDM, and TTWO. So it's a great list. Let's see what else we have here. So Jerry's watching his usual stuff. I'm gonna read out some of the ones that normally he's are specific for today. So INTC, he's watching that for a possible breakout. He's watching Oxy today, so that's a good one. That could be, that's one that, you know, again, that whole sector, this is one of the tickers that trades very well, very clean with a lot of volume. So if you're watching that, this could be a good one. He's watching K-Web, obviously. He's watching the stocks in that area. Baba, JD, which is for the most part we have on our list as well. Let's take a look at what else we have here. And then he's watching PEP as well to lose 130 as his support. All right, and Thor, he's watching ACB, TJX, and Snap. What's going on with Snap? Some action on the level 2. Yep, so Snap really light volume right now. So he's watching, looking for fun and near a major breakout.
I don't think it's fair to mention
daily.
Snap after Hiltzy's work on his presentation last night.
Yes, I agree. I agree 100%, guys. And as if you missed the morning part of the show, the earlier part of the show, Norm mentioned how great that presentation was yesterday. So if you were not able to make it out, definitely catch the recording. It's just the stuff said there, a lot of people can relate to, because we all been through this time where nothing seems to work, and then finally something clicks and you just kind of get into that groove. Sometimes you hear people say, especially the more experienced traders that have been trading for about 6-7 years, these guys have been around for a while and stuck with it. They'll say, oh, trading is easy. And it's easy because they figure out their niche, right? Trading is not easy by all means, but once you figure out your niche and what works for you personally, it can become as Andrew, as what's the other gentleman? other people have said where it's like printing money basically, but it's not that easy. But when you get to that point where you figure it out, it's a great feeling. So love the presentation, guys. Definitely check it out. Nas is another one that has been doing amazing. He actually done day trading, and now he's doing some options, and he's killing it. So again, he's found his niche. So that's very important. All right. So Brian is watching BBY, SQ, BA, ACB, and XTN. XTN. Let's take a look at that one. XT. NT, excuse me, XTNT. So XTNT. All right. Oh, very active this morning. Is this a low flow stock? I know this is very active. Okay, we'll put it on here. I'm not sure if it's a low flow yet. XTNT, explosive right now, 6.5 million shares traded. I don't like the price too much, but if Brian is watching, it's got to be good. And Andrew's watching United, CCL. Andrew's loving United and CCL. They're always under his watch list no matter what. They're becoming his good buddies like AMD and MU were at one point a year and a half ago. He's watching AMD as well, ACB, UA, Facebook, and NVIDIA all looking very well. All right, guys, we have an amazing watch list. Looking forward to see how this market is going to open. 10 minutes to the market open. Take care, guys, on YouTube. Trade safe, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow. And also for the close show at 3:30 this morning. And I think we have some earnings, some pretty good earnings coming out this afternoon as well. So don't miss that. These guys go all the way into 4:15, and they'll have the Squawk audio on as well and kind of go through any earnings play. And Brian is doing swing trading, so if anything looks good, he'll advise of any swing tradings that he's watching for the day. Take care, guys. Trade safe.
Take care, guys.